Hello my friends and welcome back. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Four little topics for this video. The first one has to do with mass Russian surrender in Kursk. Second one, the Ukrainians destroyed two armored vehicle columns, Russian one. The third one has to do with who is really fighting this war. I'm going to show you one Ukrainian prisoner, and I will make a point regarding who's fighting the war and for whom. And the last topic, the Russians are trying to advance in Chasiv Yar, and they are hiding behind or in the fog. Okay, let's start with the first one. This comes from the New Voice of Ukraine. Mass surrender of Russian soldiers in Kursk Oblast. So this is one Russian soldier who surrendered right here. I want you to please take a look at who's fighting wars and for whom. Now, where is Kursk? This is the map of Ukraine. This is Russia here. This is where NATO helped Ukrainians and mercenaries and volunteers to invade a country, because that country also invaded this country. Because why? Because these people have to fight for other people's interests. These are the people. I'm going to show you another sorry-ass picture of an Ukrainian prisoner. These are people, regular people. They're not politicians, they're not billionaires, they're not millionaires. 27 Russian soldiers surrendered to the Ukrainian paratroopers in Kursk Oblast, according to a video of the Ukrainian Armed Forces airborne assault troops posted on Telegram. And I'm quoting, "The Russian occupiers voluntarily lay down their weapons, having found themselves in a difficult combat situation." The video's commentary reads. On video on Telegram, we can't do it because we live in a free world of America and we can't do that. Among the captives are officers, surgeons, and soldiers of motorized rifle units, Marines, and the Russian airborne forces, including residents of Chechnya, temporarily occupied Sevastopol, and other regions. All wounded enemy soldiers received immediate first aid. Why? We are compassionate. They are not. They're monsters. All right, that's the first one. Second one comes again from New Voice of Ukraine. Ukrainian forces destroy two Russian armor columns. Here is the evidence. Okay. Ukrainian defense forces have destroyed two columns of Russian armored vehicles in the Kharkiv and Pokrovsk directions. So Kharkiv and Pokrovsk. Kharkiv is the most eastward oblast in Ukraine here. And they claim that they did it, I'm assuming, I don't think they're going to give us any location, by Kupiansk, where the Russians are trying to surround it, encircle it, and then probably move towards Kharkov, right there. So this is one where the column was destroyed, and the other one is in Pokrovsk front. Pokrovsk front is in Donetsk. This is where the Russians are advancing, and this is Pokrovsk, the Russians call it that way, the Ukrainians call it, the Russians call it Krasnoarmeysk, the Ukrainians call it Pokrovsk. So it's one in Donetsk, the column right here, and one in Kharkov. Let's see what these guys give us. Over the past day, Russian forces attempted offensive actions near the Vovchansk and the Tikhe area in Kharkov Oblast. Reports indicated the enemy deployed armored vehicles to transport personnel to Tikhe area. The column was subjected to fire, resulting in the destruction of two enemy MTLBs along with their troops, the report stated. So that is in this area here. Trying to encircle these guys. They say two of them were destroyed. Good for you. Let's see where they destroyed the other column in Pokrovsk. Meanwhile, in the Pokrovsk direction, Russian forces attacked near Yelizavetivka, Promin, Zvirovye. Oh my god, there's a lot of them here. All right, according to the Kortitsia group, Ukrainian defenders are effectively countering Russian attempts to exploit the numerical advantage and push forward. Russian troops used armored vehicles to try to break through Ukrainian defenses near the defensive lines near Baranivka. A column detected in advance was hit with fire, resulting in the destruction of 1 tank and 2 IFVs. The attack failed. Very good, very good. Next, this comes from Ukrinform. Enemy trying to penetrate deep into Chasiv Yar under cover of fog. These guys are fighting inside Chasiv Yar already, and I'm going to show you where that little Bethlehem town is. Right here. Chasiv Yar, this is Artemovsk, Bakhmut, if you remember, with Soledar. These two were taken by the Wagner group. And here is Chasiv Yar, where the Russians are advancing under the cover of fog. Let's see what else these guys are saying. In Chasiv Yar, the Russian occupation forces are actively using the pipes of the Siversky Donetsk-Donbass Canal for hiding during bad weather and fog to accumulate forces. Wow. As for the situation in Chasiv Yar, the enemy is actively using the pipes. Okay, so they're hiding over there like cockroaches. And let me show you who is fighting this war for us. According to Sputnik, captured Ukrainian reveals rampant gambling and exploitation in the ranks. Here is the big Hollywood portrayed Ukrainian fighter, and this is the Hollywood portrayed Russian fighter, my friend. Why am I doing this? Is to show you how these guys promote war, shape opinions. These are regular people. Look at this guy. Does he look like a... I don't even want to look at this guy. So I just wanted to make this last point just to show two of the brave soldiers on both sides. While those guys meet in all kind of chancelleries, prime ministers, foreign ministers, presidents, defense ministers, NATO secretaries and all this, telling us, oh, we support Ukraine and the Russians and this. These guys are used. These guys are used by those guys to fulfill their economic, financial interests. Spread them. If you think that this war in Ukraine is just because the Russians are having an imperialistic mind, which they could to a certain extent, then this war will continue. It's a matter of power, financial, economic, as I said. And the three, as I call them, three pillars of this are the banking system, international banking system, the Western international system, banking system, not the Chinese and Malaysian or Indonesian. The second one, which finger should I take? I'm going to take this one, right? The other one is obviously the military-industrial complex, the businesses that produce weapons and they are sold in order to protect us from the evil, whatever the politicians are pointing to. And the third one is the energy sector. You can't produce, you can't exist without energy. Coal, oil, energy with, coming from this kind of sources, and they are the big ones. And obviously you have to reconstruct, rebuild the country and bring a lot of pharmaceutical things. That is the big pharma that comes over to alleviate our problems after all those three sources create, with the help of the politicians who are promoted through legal campaign donations. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and be just.